Chapter 13 of Deuteronomy is a very important chapter. It is warning the people about deception on the part of false teachers, false prophets, and this has implications right up through today. And chapter 18 does something similar. We'll get to that later. But in chapter 13, I want to read these verses, these opening verses. If a prophet or a dreamer of dreams arises among you and gives you a sign or wonder. So we start off with this prophet or dreamer, and they are going to come and give a sign or wonder. This is a miracle. So in other words, they're able to perform a miracle. So this prophet stands up, he's going to make a pronouncement, he's going to give a teaching, and he's going to back it up with a miracle. Verse 2, and the sign or the wonder comes true. So this is actually something that happens. Satan has power to a limited extent, certainly not like God does. The magicians that Moses faced down had some powers. They did certain things, but they were limited. And so this dreamer, this prophet comes and he proclaims something, but he backs it up with a miracle. And it says, a sign of the wonder comes true concerning which he spoke to you, saying, but here's his message. Let us go after other gods, whom you have not known, and let us serve them. Okay, his message is false. He is leading the people astray. He's taking them in a direction away from the true God. So even though he has stood up, proclaimed himself a prophet, claimed he's had a vision or a dream, has backed it up with a miracle, if his message is against the teachings of God and against God himself, what are they to do? Verse 3, you shall not listen to the words of that prophet or that dreamer of dreams. For the Lord your God is testing you to find out if you love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul. So because their message is false, no matter how charismatic they might be, how much power they seem to have, you are to turn away from them. You're not to listen to them. So why did the Lord allow this prophet to show up with credentials and power? Well, because the Lord, he says, is testing you to see if you will obey him. Will you follow a false teacher because they're winsome, they're attractive, and they actually perform some miracles of some kind? Or will you follow the Lord because the Lord's teachings are right? Will you go astray from God because this person seems to have all the right answers and all the credentials? Or will you stay with the scriptures and the instructions of God? The Lord is testing them to see if they truly love him. Verse 4, you shall follow the Lord your God and fear him, and you shall keep his commandments, listen to his voice, serve him, and cling to him. And so the options are laid out between the prophet, who is false, and the true God, who is we are to listen to. What about the prophet? But that prophet or that dreamer of dreams shall be put to death. So this individual is not allowed to stay among them. He's not allowed to continue his ministry. If he comes out and he's taking the people away from God, they are to recognize that. And they're to love the Lord so much that they are willing to get rid of this false teacher so he doesn't infiltrate some of the other people. He doesn't infect them with false teachings and lead them astray. So they do that by putting him to death at this point in time. Now he's going to broaden that beyond just a false prophet. He says in verse 6, if your brother or your mother's son, or the son or daughter, or your wife, or you cherish, or your friend, who is as your own soul, entice you secretly, saying, let us go and serve other gods, whom neither you nor your fathers have known. So now he broadens that to everybody, including your own wife, including your best friend, your children. If they come and say, let's leave God, let's not follow him any longer, let's follow others, we're not to yield to them, verse 8, and verse 9, you are surely to kill them, verse 10, by stoning them. This is very important. They cannot tolerate anyone in their midst who are leading them astray from God. And then he broadens it even further to the cities around them. If you hear of one of your cities and some worthless men, verse 13, then verse 14, you go investigate, you search it out, and if you find that city is going astray from the teachings of God and leading others away from the Lord, what are you to do with them? Verse 15, you shall surely strike the inhabitants of that city. And so toleration of false teaching was not allowed. The people could not live with that or they will be led astray from the things of God. Very serious here, and a very important message that, like I said at the beginning, that has ramifications even to today concerning false teachers. We don't stone them, but we point them out and we reject them in the New Testament era.